Hey everyone, it's great to connect with you. I would love to know if you're here live. If you are, put a 1 in the comments and where you're tuning in from. If you end up watching this later on the replay, then drop a 2 in the comments and also let me know where you are joining from. I want to talk today about what do you think is destroying or sabotaging your health? And I think oftentimes we may think about, certain factors that are more in our awareness, whether it's due to maybe something that your doctor says to you, or you see other people addressing those areas of their health. I know, sometimes people will be thinking more about the food they're eating perhaps, or they're thinking about losing weight, just thinking about things that people will come to me about. Sometimes people will come to me with concerns regarding mental health challenges. Perhaps they've gotten a diagnosis of a particular disorder, and it's often I would say physical things that people come to me regarding health coaching about, but they do sometimes come to me about how their mental health is, their emotions, and other areas. But I wanted to really make you stop and think. What do you think? And it doesn't have to be just one thing by any means. What do you think contributes most to your overall health issues, not feeling well, feeling impacted from a physical level, an emotional level, a spiritual level? So I'm a holistic coach, so that means that I look at people as a whole person, as I think we all should, because we are not just a body part, we're not just a brain, we're not just a mood, we are a whole person affected by many things in our life. So, hey Randy, thanks so much for joining in. So what is sabotaging and destroying your health? Or I hope that you're in maybe a better scenario now. Maybe you can think back to a time in your life, if things are going pretty well right now, where you felt that your health was diminishing, that it was really struggling. And can you look back and see what was contributing to that? It's really important to do that, to do some reflection as well. And so I had a really great conversation with someone today, sharing some of my own past struggles and in my health journey. And it was just really great to reflect on my journey, where I am right now. And I think some of you who follow me know that a really important part of my journey has been recognizing how toxic being in certain work environments have been, how that has affected me over the last, it's been about 14 years as a speech therapist. And, 14 years can really take a toll on someone. Sometimes I really wonder how certain colleagues or people that I know who are in the field with me, speech therapy field, I really question how some of them have made it or are close to making it to, let's say, maybe a 30 to 40 year mark. Hard workers, grinding, just trying to get by, survive. So they're not necessarily thriving by any means. They're simply just trying to survive. So I want you to consider about a very important factor, which is the environments that you put yourself in. And I'm curious if those environments are places that you have chosen to put yourself in, or if they're places that you feel more stuck, like feeling like you are in a job that you don't like, or there's certain people there that are very toxic. You feel like there's problems and you express what's going on, but you don't feel like you're heard. Let me know if that's something you resonate with, or if you feel more comfortable messaging me privately to share that with me. Feel free to do that, because I totally feel like I can relate to that. I have said to people in the past, what's so frustrating. It's frustrating as it is, being a person who just a human being who wants to have people, listen and hear you out about problems that are going on. I think we all probably want that, right? But it's extremely frustrating if you're in a situation where your profession is all about communication. And in my role as a speech therapist for 14 years, I am there to help my students or the kids that I work with to be better communicators. There's so many goals that I have seen written and I have also written some myself for kids for self-advocacy, having them know how to speak up for themselves. And the sad part is you can be a great communicator. You can say what's going on. You can say how you feel about something. But if it's not being acknowledged and it's being ignored and nothing's being done to help the problem or problem solve the situation, you can definitely feel frustrated, overwhelmed, unheard, unappreciated, and so on and so forth, right? So communication is a two-way street. And it's not just about speaking, it's about the person who is listening, actually listening and taking that information and hopefully doing something with the information that you have shared with them to help the situation that you've put out there. But that is unfortunately not the case. In some of my experiences, it's been more of turning the situation around and saying, well, you need to do something about this. You need to try this. And instead of others trying to support and help a difficult situation. So I was just curious about if you've considered the role of toxicity, the role of being in toxic environments, and also considering how long you have been in a toxic environment and the toll that takes on someone. If you saw my post that I just posted today, again, regarding the example of fish being in a really dirty bowl. And so when the fish are not feeling well, you see the fish are sluggish and they're not, and they don't seem to be thriving. Do you, number one, blame the fish and say, okay, those fish need to be put on medications. There's something wrong with those fish. We need to get a diagnosis. Or do we look at the environment and say, the reason these fish are so sick, the reason they're struggling, the reason they're sluggish, they're not thriving, is because of the environment that they have been in? Would it make sense to clean up that bowl, to give them new water, fresh water? If you're someone who's owned a fish before, I know I have in the past, I hope that is something relatable. And so consider that for yourself. What are you swimming around in? What have you been swimming around in for the last so many years? And so if you're feeling stuck, because I can tell you I have had times in my life where I have felt very stuck, honestly feeling stuck because of, there's a lot of jobs out there that offer decent finances, or maybe more than decent finances. But what they can't offer is joy and true happiness, especially if they're highly toxic and you're not being appreciated or heard in your work environments. Potentially, you might even be feeling walked on, abused, bullied, and on and on. And so I would encourage you to consider that there are other options out there for you. And rightfully so, if you're feeling stuck, you need support, you're not really sure what other avenues, other types of work or things to do with your time, consider doing some coaching with me around that. Health coaching is not simply about health. Like I said, I certainly love helping people with lifestyle choices. Food and what you eat is so important. But I wanted you to also consider by me doing this video, for you to consider other aspects of your life that are likely contributing in major ways to you feeling healthy or not. And the longer you stay in unhealthy situations, unhealthy relationships, unhealthy work environments, it takes a toll, and it's more of a mess to clean up later. It's better to be proactive and not stay in unhealthy situations for long periods of time. And like I said, I can speak to that because I personally have gone through it. This year, I left a very toxic job, and I have the ability now to look back and see how toxic it was. I knew it was, but until you're out of a really toxic environment, sometimes you get used to some of it. You sometimes can talk yourself into staying, thinking that things are going to improve. And sadly, oftentimes it gets worse instead of better. And so I just wanted to come on here and share this with you, hoping that it would help you in some way, or maybe someone that you know who is unhappy with their work, unhappy with their life. And, think about how many hours you spend working. It could often be, especially in a stressful job, you might be pulling 10-hour days. Maybe it's not 10-hour days, maybe it's 6-hour days. But, when you add that up across the week, you're spending a significant amount of time working. And if it's a work environment that's toxic, you're spending more time in that toxic environment than you are in healthy, loving, uplifting, high vibe type of situations. I know from being in some amazing environments, how I truly want to feel. And I want that for other people as well, to be able to say, there are other environments out there where I can thrive and grow instead of being stunted. And sometimes I picture it as being like hammered down. I guess it would be almost like, maybe you guys could think of a good example, but I was thinking of, maybe it's like it is like a hammer, right? Like a nail that's, you want to rise, you want to kind of stick up a little higher, but every time you try to do something, try to improve the situation, speak up, do whatever, you get hammered back down into your place again. Maybe like whack-a-mole as well, where you're just trying to be a positive influence in your environment, and you just get whack-a-mole right back down into being level with everybody else in your workplace. Thanks so much for tuning in, but would love to hear how this shows up for you. And please share this with anyone you know who's struggling, feeling very unhappy about their life, looking for understanding what their purpose is, and know that there is a greater purpose for them than what they're currently experiencing. I'd love to hold that vision for you and help you to look at other possibilities. Have an amazing evening, and as we go into the weekend, and thanks for tuning in. Bye.